Hello, Medicare Advantage Risk Adjustment operators, innovators, and learners. Welcome to another learning video series of the Hills Academy Risk Adjustment Made Easy, the Medicare Advantage kind. If today is your first time joining us, we want to say thank you for joining us. If you have been a seasoned learner with us, we also want to say thank you for spending the time with us. I am your host tutor, Dr. Prince Bewa. If you have not subscribed to our channel yet, I will encourage you to subscribe so that you do not miss anything that we share from here. With all the changes in the Medicare Advantage payments that are coming up, you want to be on top of the game on everything that is going on, and this channel is one of the ways that you can be on top of things as the MA payment policies continue to roll out and we learn more of them. This month, as we started from last week, we are going over risk adjustment data validation, RADV. And last week we started on some definitions. So if today is the first time that you are joining us, or if you haven't watched last week's video, I will encourage you to watch them because they provide core foundational definitions as we build on this week. And before that, I want to encourage you again to our RAS Fire 201 HCC in Fire online cohort class, which will be held on June 16th through the 18th, 2025 between 7 and 8. And the deadline is coming up very quickly. So go to the website from here, and also you can also scan the QR code to register. And I'm co-hosting this class with Dr. Yubin Park from Mimi Labs. I'll see you there. Let's get back to today's. Today we are picking up from what we studied last week and looking at the Medicare Advantage Risk Adjustment Payment Cycle and how RADV unfolds in that. So the MA payment cycle goes something like this. There is a beneficiary that receives service from a provider that has contract with an MA plan. Through the service that the beneficiary received, a provider will send in either a claim or an encounter to the health plan. If it's on a fee-for-service basis, then a claim is submitted to the health plan. And the health plan transforms the A37 file and submits to CMS as an encounter data record. Sometimes this can be as a RAPS record that was previously, or if you are a PACE organization, that can be a RAPS submission as well, which is the Risk Adjustment Processing System file that is RAPS. And in that, CMS now uses the data to provide capitated payments to the health plan. And the health plan, through the arrangement the health plan has with the provider, some of the money flows back to the provider for the services that are being rendered. So this is how the general payment cycle goes. Benny and a provider interaction, provider to a health plan through the claim data, and then the health plan to CMS through either RAPS or encounter data, and money flows from CMS to the health plan through capitation payment, and then money flows from the health plan to the provider as well through the arrangement that they have together. And that is the general payment cycle. Now let's add in how RADV comes to play in the cycle. In the RADV process, as we have just discussed, RADV comes to play with all the money that CMS pays to the plan. CMS now comes back to the plan looking to validate the payment. So CMS is doing validation of the data that the plan submitted to CMS. And in that case, the plan now goes back to the provider to look for the medical records that supported the data that the provider sent to the plan, which the plan had sent over to CMS. And that is how that cycle goes. So CMS in this RADV process is now going back to look at medical records to validate the data from which the plan received a payment pertaining to the conditions that the beneficiary has that are documented in the medical record. And that is the payment validation process. So as we discussed from last week on the definition, the payment validation process requires the plans and the providers that they have contracted with. And we looked at that from the definitions from last week. So this is how the RADV process fits in the payment cycle process. And that is what the RADV process from a very high level is intended to accomplish. I hope this makes it easier for you to grasp the concepts. As I end, I want to encourage you, if you have not subscribed to our email list, you go to our website, www.thehillsacademy.com. You go to the Risk Adjustment Made Easy webpage. You'll be able to get a free copy of From Chaos to Clarity, the essential comparison cheat sheet on Medicare Advantage risk adjustment data sources for free. And this is very applicable to what we are discussing in this month on RADV, because it's on data sources, and that also applies to these data sources that are used for payment and validation. If this has been helpful to you, I will encourage you to like, to share, to subscribe, so that others can benefit from this lesson. Catch you next week as we pick up from where we are leaving off today. Bye for now.